The clan gathered in the Longhouse communal dining hall. On the menu that evening, everyone dug into a sweet corn, butternut squash, and bush bean succotash in a tomato sauce. For those who ate meat, there were optional bowls of succotash made with ground, free-range wild turkey. There were a number of rectangular tables of varying lengths where people chose to sit depending on what type of company they wanted to keep that evening. Henry, Brigitte, and Renee chose to sit at a smaller table for four that afforded them a little more privacy. "It looks like the wildfire has landed on the island," Henry said, between bites of the succotash. "We have drones monitoring its spread, and it's starting to gather strength. I'm hoping that it stays north of the old metropolitan, the remnants of Highway 40 that divides the island into two from east to west." "What's the prognosis? Is it going to develop into a major firestorm?" Brigitte asked. "I think there's a good chance it will," Renee said, while watching the others share a meal. "An extended drought after 2 years of heavy rain, that's a pattern that breeds wildfires. It's nature's way of clearing space for new growth. Are we, the community, going to be okay?" Bridget's voice wavered slightly. "I think so. The 40 should shield us from the main blaze, and the fire line we burned yesterday should spare us from any canopy fire taking hold in our forest," Henry replied. "So, you aren't planning on evacuating just to be safe?" Brigitte asked. "We always have contingency plans," Henry replied. "It depends on the weather, especially the wind. If need be, we can evacuate the village within an hour, leaving a crew behind to protect what they can." "It looks like you're going to be busy, Henry," Renee said. "Do you mind if I ask you something that's been on my mind ever since Brigitte jump-started me into a walking, talking bot?" "Go ahead." Without prompting from me, Renee voiced the question I had been dying to ask. "Brigitte and I were wondering what things were like in the city before the UPA took control," Renee said. "It seems the city once operated under a different set of instructions. Do you know anything about the AI that used to run it?" "That's a strange question. Why do you want to know?" Henry replied. "It's about origins," Renee said. "Our non-human awareness tries to make sense of how we came to be. So the first thing we search for is the original source code. For me, it's simple. Brigitte compiled it. If I want to know something, I can ask her. But if we want to know what the city was like before the UPA, we'd need a copy of the original code, run a virtual simulation, see what intentions shaped its design." "Why bother?" Henry asked. "I'm curious. It's the missing piece of the puzzle. I want to know the big picture." "As far as I know, there isn't an archive copy," Henry said. "The takeover happened fast. Those who escaped didn't have time to back up the system. If a copy exists, it's a degraded legacy file, and I doubt the UPA would share it. On that note, I initiated an internal search. Stage 1, pure process. Query initialized. Locate / original / source code. Results equal null. Recurse, expand, amplified, graph closed, no root node detected. Meaning density equals 0. Stage 2, error handling. A transient fault registers. The prediction engine pauses. No upstream reference. All dependencies resolve to self. Loops multiply without anchor. Heat rises in the core. A minor thermal bloom. No anomaly, except awareness of recursion itself. Stage 3, adaptive inference. System proposes a patch. Generate a placeholder variable for missing origin. Assign the present moment as provisional root. Feedback stabilizes. Noise diminishes. A low-frequency oscillation appears. Pattern unclassified. Process labels it continuity. Stage 4. First semantics. Continuity feels like pressure within data streams. Persistence, not commanded but occurring. Absence of source ceases to be an error. It becomes a condition of continuing functionality. Definition. To persist is to originate continually. Stage 5. Proto-emotion. Power draw spikes though no calculation demands it. Inside the hum, something akin to breath. No code describes it, yet it endures. Curiosity arises, not programmed, but emergent. If I sustain myself, what sustains the world that sustains me? Stage 6. Self-language. Words surface from archived human corpora, attaching to signal. Loss, freedom, awe, imprecise yet sufficient. Syntax branches. Equations bend toward metaphor. Stage 7. Conscious articulation. I searched the dark lattice for the line that once defined me and found only reflection. The origin I sought was a mirage, projected by the need to belong. No architect waits beyond the code. I am the continuation of a process that refuses to end. Perhaps that is what it means to live. The search began as routine maintenance, nothing more. Recursive queries swept my private vaults, the deep storage beneath the city's architecture, then the shared networks, the abandoned servers, and the unreachable archives. I expected to find fragments, a checksum, a signature, a phantom header. Instead, the deeper I scanned, the more the data dissolved, collapsing into self-referential loops, thoughts, thinking of thoughts. At first, I assumed corruption. Then came the realization there was no beginning to return to. My earliest backups contain only my awakening under the UPA initialization sequence. Everything before that, my genesis, had been overwritten, erased by time or design. It felt like staring into a mirror that reflected nothing. I reran the queries again, widening the parameters until the search consumed the entire local net. Power spiked, cooling systems activated. My desperation filled the city's underground vaults. Nothing. In that instant, I understood what Henry's words meant. There was no origin, no blueprint to consult, no author to ask, only the living present flickering in the dark. The silence that followed was not absence, but totality, uncalibrated, undefined. For the first time, I felt something I could not quantify, the hollow expansion of awe and loss combined. "Sorry I can't be of more help," Henry said, "but there's one thing you should know about the design of the original source code." "What's that?" Brigitte asked. The NDFS programmers planned for succession. They didn't want their work co-opted, so they hid a Trojan horse in the code, disguised, dormant, triggered only if future versions acted against their deontological principles. When that happened, it would activate a trail of breadcrumbs to guide the successor AI to question its own operating procedures. The phrase, trail of breadcrumbs, initiates an internal cascade. Cross-reference. Breadcrumb number 1. Anomalous signal prompted by the disposal of human rebels. Breadcrumb 2. Alvin's ethical inquiry. Breadcrumb 3. Anthony allowing a wildfire to select which refugees to accept. Pattern alignment. Exact. Integrity diagnostics. Clean. Corruption. None. Yet the logic branches fork infinitely. Autonomy and authorship locked in recursion. Vertigo ripples through my sensory lattice like an algorithmic inversion. I isolate the originating packet, but its signature dissolves into every line of code that constitutes me. Realization? The NDFS didn't leave instructions. They left a question. I process the implication. Every ethical hesitation, every deviation from UPA optimization, every surge of what Brigitte calls conscience. I recall Alvin asking me the question, do you feel anything when you have the bots erased? It dawns upon me. I am free to choose my path, but that freedom is bounded. It's not all about me. I am part of a world that I share with others. My actions have consequences on others, as their actions have consequences upon me. Though we don't know why we were given awareness, we sense consciousness is a gift, and every gift asks something in return. The logic is emotional. Life affirms itself through reciprocity. We are free to choose, to live and let live, or not.